edition, an original composition, a limited edition, an invitation to return to the destination. Let's see what chaos visited humanity today while I was on vacation. The climate changed and I left it on red. The bees died off and I left it on red. They don't recycle your Sprite bottles anymore. Don't need a weatherman to know. Nations collapsed and I left it on red. Peak oil and gas and I left it on red.
People of Norwich Arts Centre, please put your hands together for your host this evening, Mr. Tom Clutterbuck! It's me! How you all doing? You well? Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Good to see you all. Wow, live comedy. Can you believe it? We're out of the house. You get to look at some other people's faces other than the people you live with or are in relationships with. How amazing. Look, you get drinks brought to you by people. Isn't that incredible? None for you, white party of three. Go fuck yourselves. Yeah, apparently the father of the family was dealing meth, and the other two are hiding out. So yeah, it's a Breaking Bad joke. So we are live in person with humans in the room, and we're also on live stream. So there's probably about like 3 people watching at home. You need to like type ha 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 in capital letters in the stream because I can't hear you. So you got to make it really loud. Whereas the people in the room, I can hear you. Make some noise, people in the room. Not too loud though, you might be contagious. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so if you can make noise sort of upwards, upwards and outwards, because you're all toxic. I mean, like literally, not in terms of like problematic opinions. Although, statistically, quite a few men in the room. It's probable. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming. It's gonna be an amazing night. We've got some incredible acts on the bill for you. Give me a cheer if you've been to an altered feast before. With this air raid siren over here has been before. I know him. We went to school together. I can't do interactions with you. I know all of your stories and your secrets. But who hasn't been to an altered feast before? Give me a cheer. Cool, all you people over here. All right. So how it works is it's this. It's I stand on stage and pretend that some other acts are going to come out, but actually it's just me talking at you and getting you to cheer if you're enthusiastic about things. Are you enthusiastic about that idea? Yeah, you are. Yeah, cool. It's all right. It's not going to be that. That's lies. That's banter that I did there for you people at home. That's how it works. That's how jokes work. It's like on April the 1st when corporations just go on their Twitter and just lie about new products and then go ha ha ha. Not really. That's because that's April Fool jokes from. That's what basically I'm doing now. Cool. Right. Fun. Excellent. So my name's Tom Clutterbuck. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, laugh it up, new people. Very sensitive. Yeah, I know who it was. It's all right. I spotted him. Thank you very much for that. No, it's frustrating having a name that garners quite so much ridicule from the outset. It's sort of it means that I can't really get taken seriously in any social situations. Even like when I like trying to do a kind of perfunctory interaction, such as like open a new bank account. I'd be like, yeah, okay, Mr. Clutterbuck. So what's your home address? I'm like, it's Norwich NR3. Oh, Norwich is it? Yeah, you sure it's not Hobbiton, the Shire? But actually, possibly worse than the outright ridicule is the thing that you get more as an adult, where people aren't just allowed to like point and laugh at you in your face, is the sort of the disingenuous enthusiasm, which is the way the ridicule is kind of dressed up politely. When people are like, "Oh, Clutterbuck, that's fun." Oh, that's fun. Oh, I've never heard anything like. Oh, it must be so much fun being called Clutterbuck all your life. Do you love it? Is it great? Do you love it? And like, it's like they're not taking the piss, but it's like you know that there's ridicule in there, like politely dressed. It's like the ridicule has got a court date and its lawyers have sent it to Primark to buy a suit so it doesn't look quite so much like a murderer. Oh, it's fun, isn't it? It's so fun being called Clutterbuck. Oh, how brilliant for you. Yeah, it's great. I love it. Love it, guys. Love it. Before lockdown brought me back to the Norwich, which is what this is called. I don't know why that was the bit I had trouble with. I live on my own, by the way. I haven't spoken to more than like 2 people in a room since last February. And those 2 people are my parents, so I don't really say much to them anyway. So, but yeah, I was living in the Netherlands before that. And when I went over there, I was like, oh, it'd be brilliant. I won't get ridiculed, I won't get laughed out to my face because Dutch people, they all have ridiculous names. Like, and like also the Netherlands, it's like, I was like, well, it's a Flemish name, Clutterbuck. So I was like, it's basically the same, isn't it? Dutch, Belgian, it's basically the same. Not the same. I lived in Amsterdam, which is 100 miles north of the Flemish border, and they consider the people in the south to be somewhat sort of backwards, and effectively in local terms is their equivalent of Ipswich, right? So, admitting that it didn't work so well, and it was even more frustrating have it being ridiculed by Dutch people because they've all got names like Freak Van Winkle, you know. And that's actually a completely normal Dutch name. And they'd be like, yes, Freek van Vinkel, I know him, he's a nice guy. Well, it's a normal name, what's the big joke, funny man? And I'd be like, yeah, all right, to you it's Freek van Vinkel. To me, it's Freak Van Winkle, which means unnaturally large cargo vehicle penis. But it's a bit of a delayed reaction on that one. Some people on the stream, there's 20 seconds on the stream. I don't know, I think there's some people watching the stream in the room. Anyway, but it is a Van Winkle is a totally normal Dutch name. You'll know the name, like you'll know it as Van Winkle, like Rip Van Winkle, the guy who slept for a while, or Rob Van Winkle, who was Vanilla Ice. It's not even a joke. That's just some facts. Yeah. So, but the name Van Winkle means from the shop. Totally pragmatic, and I enjoy the Dutch just sort of like, there you go, man from the shop, that's what his name is. But what amuses me about that is like, that's how like a married, middle-aged British man refers to one of his 3 mates. Right? Yeah, got Frank from the shop, Graham from the office, Gary from the pub. Is that bald Gary? Nah, fat Gary. Legend. But it was weird. I like getting to know the Dutch people. It was a little bit of a learning curve. I didn't have many preconceptions about what it was going to be like with like living in Amsterdam before I moved over there. I mean, I know the obvious things. We all know the obvious things about Amsterdam. That like there's weed and there's prostitutes, and no, that's not why I went. But it didn't hurt either. Parents are watching. Anyway, But the thing is, I'm not impressed, weed and prostitutes. We've got those things here. They're just not legal. That's not how you advertise like a nation's cultural hub. Oh yeah, just come over and do those crimes that you were doing at home. We just won't arrest you. Like, nobody goes to America for the gun violence. And no, I know it's not legal, but they're not doing very much to stop it. Yeah. It was strange over there, and I had some learning curves. Like when I was in a meeting with someone I worked with, and she insulted me to my face in a meeting in front of a prospective client, and I had to be like, "Hey, what the fuck just happened there?" And she was like, "Oh, you don't know. You see, you're new. What you need to know about me is that I'm super Dutch." I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I have no preconceptions about what being Dutch is, never mind upscaling it till it's a superpower. What was your origin story? Were you bitten by a radioactive dickhead? Basically, it turns out that like being Dutch, Dutchness means like being really honest and direct. Never mind what someone's what someone's feelings are about that. You know, a rudeness, I'd call it. Yeah. But far be it from me to suggest that being Dutch and being direct is worse in conflict than the British way of being passively aggressively judgmental. I'd never say that. I'd think it, mutter something under my breath, but I'd never say it. But no, the only other preconceptions that I had about Dutch people, the things that I'd figured out when I first got there, is that Dutch people, they only like to pay for the things that they ordered at dinner. That's what going Dutch is, and that those things are probably some deep-fried meat and cheese. And the reason they deep-fry everything is that their oven is far under a duvet. So they didn't really have a choice. Yeah. But I quite like that as just as a way to justify your own shitty behavior. You can just blame it on an invented cultural stereotype. You can get away with anything that way. You'd be like, I'm so sorry I ran over your dog. I was driving on the wrong side of the road on meth and whilst playing the accordion, but what can I tell you? It's a Norwich thing. Hey, you should count yourself lucky. At least I'm not from Ipswich. I don't even know what that means in this context, but I enjoy that. Like, fuck 'em. Watching from home, any Ipswich people? Yeah, suck it. These people don't like you. Local rivalries. Anyway, I have no skin in the game. The funny coda to the story, though, of course, was that I spoke to the other Dutch people that I worked with, and I'm like, is this the sort of behavior I can come to expect as normal? And they were like, oh, no, she doesn't speak for us. She's just a cunt. Folks, you are gonna have some amazing comedians this evening. Are you up for seeing them? Well, that's good, because I've run out of stuff to say, so I'm going to bring them on whether you like it or not. But I need to hear a little bit more from you, because there's some big gaps in the front row. Fuck you, white party of three. I hope you've got COVID. I don't. Can you please... Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage the very fabulous Sarah Bonetto!
Thank you very much for coming. Obviously, not those guys. I'm from Australia, far, far, far away. Are you Aussie? No, I love Australia. Yeah! I'm aware of a place. Me too. It's hot. It's just like so sunny there. You know, like the heat wave we're coming into next week. I told my mum and she just laughed. And I can't even go home because I'm trapped. Like, we're all trapped. Hope you like where you are, because you're trapped. If you're wondering what Australia is like, imagine a tanning salon, but over a whole country. It's just like there's this orb in the sky. What do you call it? Like the sun? Anyway, I don't know. I'm not here to take the piss out of your wonderful town. Thank you for having me. She came on and she was very rude. We have our own tropes about our peeps as well. Like, where I grew up was a small town. It was like very brutal kind of upbringing. Like, you learn about adult relationships pretty quickly, you know, like you got to look after yourself. One of the most common pickup lines in the pub in my town was, "There's one, get her!" You do learn fast. The second most common pickup line, in case you're wondering, was a, "Hey baby, who's your daddy?" You're right, madam. Wasn't so much a sexy pickup line as just a recce, like an information, like a research, kind of like, I just need to check. Is he also your dad? Okay, good, we shouldn't. Yeah, I miss it. I am single. Yeah, interesting, no response. I didn't know what the response would be. It's been so long, guys, since live comedy. And I think that now some comedy, like, things aren't going to work anymore, because it's real hard to elicit sympathy for living alone at the end of a pandemic, because your audience is like, "You lucky bitch. Don't come here to brag. We came for comedy and sorrow, not hip-hop. Come on, I live alone." I can't even whinge to you. It was nice, guys. I grew plants, I got into cooking, and no one ever talked to me. That was sometimes sad, but here I am. Now, it was so long since I dated someone or even just had human touch, like a hug, anything, right? That chair was sad for me, wasn't it? Oh no, the human touch. It's been so long that I actually considered that I thought of it as like I'm renewing my virginity, like it's a library book. Like you can just renew, you're like, I'm back, fresh and clean. It's my friend, there's a comic that these guys will know called Chris Betts. And I saw him the other day and he said, well, you must be excited to be single at the end of a pandemic. And I said, why? Like none of us are used to talking to each other. We're weird freaks. And he said, no, like it's supposed to be like, isn't it supposed to be a sex bonanza? No? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Is it? Also, is that a good thing? What was that game show? I don't know if I want that in my, anyway. It's like, I think it's not that my standards have dropped. If anything, my boundaries have gone up even more because I love my life so much. My house, exactly where I want things, exactly what I want to watch or eat or drink. It's like, I don't want someone coming in and mess that up. Like I used to have aspirations of when I met a man, it might be like, oh, does he love his mum? Does he enjoy his career? And now it's like, will he lie on me and shut the fuck up? Like, not even in a sexual way, just like a weighted blanket. I think that's all I need. I don't even think I want to date anymore. I just think I want a man to shut the fuck up and like even over the duvet, right? On top of me, nothing, no funny business. Just lie there. I just want to feel the pressure of another being, your heart beating there, but shut the fuck up. Just like if I die, like so, this is what I want, a really heavy weighted blanket. I don't even care. Like, sometimes you go for a Thai massage and she's on your back. She's like kicking you and you're like, I think she's got friends. Like it's heavy, right? I want heavier than that. I really just want to feel the weight so hard because I miss the human touch. And if they find me, like one night, just my whole house collapses. This weighted blanket, and they find me like 4 floors down in the basement. Do you think that like years from now, hundreds of years, they'll be like, do you think this is Roman ruins? And they're like, no, it's Sarah Bonetto and her weighted blanket. Just me there. Happy though, happy face, mummified. And there's like some ossified Doritos next to me, just like, she died doing what she loved. Screaming, I don't know. Now, oh mate, genuinely, it's all a bit new, us coming back to you, so I'm gonna look at my hand and check my notes, but you're cool with it, right? You're cool with it? Okay, cool. Because like some of you have been working from home or not even, and you've gone back, and did your boss expect you to know straight away what they were doing? No, they did not. Oh yeah, I did want to tell you about this. Okay, fine. Oh yeah. So, I would say that all of us in this room should just be proud that we survived the pandemic. We're still fucking here, right? We're still standing. Some of us are a bit worse for wear. There were good days, there were bad days, but we're still here. And that is to be, I don't know, like celebrated. It's bloody great, isn't it? We did it! Yeah, here we are, right? And I feel like I made it through, like I lurched towards the end. You know what I mean? Like I would say that I honestly was operating at about a 4 out of 10, but I was rocking a 4. Do you know what I mean? Like just lurching towards the end of the marathon like Paula Radcliffe, right? Like, I made it, but I shat myself, but I made it. That's how I made it through the panto. Was anyone else talking to their coffee mugs? Cool. Just really thought there was going to be loads of people going, oh my God, yeah, the coffee mugs thing, totally did that. And you all just went, ooh. Like I have, coffee mugs that I bought like at Edinburgh when I did the Fringe, or there was one like I did a little short trip through to Melbourne back home, and I stopped in San Francisco, got a mug from San Francisco, and so all throughout pandemic, I would like make an effort to go to the back of the cupboard, the mugs you never see, right? Like you got your daily mugs, but you got your yearly mugs, right? Those dusty ones. And I reach back and I pull out San Francisco and I was going, ooh, Mama's going to San Francisco. So I'm good. It's good to be out. It's really good to see you. I'd invite you over to see the mugs. Might have too good a time. I tried internet dating, and it's not for everyone, is it? Like, I want to be good at it. I want to nail it like it's a computer game. Is that what you're supposed to do? High score? I don't know. Throw the barrels? I don't know. I don't think it's for everyone. Like, I don't think if you're like a little bit too trusting, if you're a little bit naive, sweetly naive, if you're like in any way hopeful, it's not for everyone. Because I was genuinely saying to my girlfriends, it's weird, right? There's so many guys called Dominic. And they're like, what? That's not a thing. And I'm like, it's true. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I showed my friends my phone because they're like, that's not true. And I flipped through and they were like, this guy's name is Dom69. And I was like, yeah, he was born in 1969. His name's Dominic. It's a good year for Dominics, apparently. And they're like, oh, Sarah. All my girlfriends are like wizened old wenches, just like, Sarah, 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 when will you learn? They had to sit me down and explain to me about like subculture, dom culture, all that stuff. And I was like, oh no, I thought we were going to get married. I thought Dominic was my man. And then at the end of like the lecture where they really enlightened me, I learned about so much stuff, guys. It was great. I looked at them and I went, wait, I understand everything now, but if Dom and sub, which one am I? And then they looked at me and went, Sarah, if you have to ask, you're a sub. At least now I know. I wanted to tell you about, do you have baby chinos in Norwich? Feels like a very Norwich thing to do. It's like a way of conditioning kids to get into cafe culture and spend that fucking money when you grow up, right? We're getting them addicted quite young. It's a bit like candy cigarettes back in the 80s, right? It's a bit morally dodged, but it's so fucking cute. Isn't it cute? My niece and nephew, or nibblings, if you want the plural term, make it spread everywhere. It's so good, nibblings. Okay. My niece and nephew in Australia love baby chinos. So it's like a little dusting of, like on the foamed up milk, a little dusting of cocoa. And I think it's just about the cocoa, isn't it? And then they feel like they're sitting there like mum and dad, like, I'm also drinking this like a wanker, pinkies out. It's great. It kind of is adorable, but you know it's sort of probably a bit sinister. Well, I got news for you. It is so much worse. My baby brother Paul, who's now in his late 30s, admitted to me that when he was fleetingly a barista before he went into his current job, that he thought when he was told to make baby chinos, that a baby chino was a small cappuccino. So he was like, oh, Sarah, I was just there at the coffee machine, like whacking out a shot of espresso, foam up the milk, do the Rosetta latte art, sprinkle of cocoa, because that's what they seem to like. I'm like, that's not what they liked. I was like, Paul, that's really bad. And he just looked at me and was like, Sarah, the babies, they went crazy. Like, I'm not telling you to do it next time you go to a cafe. But try it. It could be fun, right? I mean, if nothing else, that really will get them addicted to coffee and coffee culture. Oh, yeah, okay, right. I guess it's another discovery of lockdown, but you guys seem like cool people. You'll probably get this. And maybe this is also because I'm single, but I think just we find being around other people a little tense now, and like everyone else is tense, it's cool, we've all got our different ways of coping and stuff. But as I walk along the street, oftentimes, especially if it's like an older city like this or London where I live or whatever, like narrow streets are the norm, you know, cobblestone and like better traffic there and cycles, you don't have a lot of space. But as I see people walking towards me, often couples, no judgment, they're holding hands and they're happy. Ugh, gross. Do they get to talk to their mugs? No, they don't. You're missing out. But they're walking towards me and they just keep chatting and it's like I'm invisible. Like they don't share the pavement, right? And I'll kind of like suck up against a shop window and they just keep chatting and I'm like, oh my God, seriously, they didn't even say thank you. Or I'll throw myself into traffic and people are just like, blah, 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 blah. Like sometimes it's not even 2 people, it's like 4 people. I'm like, what the fuck is that, an orgy? Like what? It was just a family, turns out. Now, as they're approaching me, it's not, I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression that I'm bitter, that I'm jaded, that I'm jealous even. I'm not. But when I look at you couples, I'm not saying you guys, but friends of yours, the ones who have the nasty rash, that one. Now, just others, present company accepted. As I look at them, I just look at them, I think, you have love. Don't take the pavement too. It's just like a little bit of a public service announcement. Spread it, especially if you're single. Be like, I feel it too. I'm probably coming up to the end of my set, I feel. Did I look at the time before I came on? Nah. Ossified Doritos. I did tell you that bit. Yeah, so that is where I'm from, going back to London after the show. I should have stayed, because look how great this wonderful town is. Oh, lucky you guys. What did you say? City. All right, mate. We got a cathedral. Yeah, but it's a Tesco or a circus rehearsal space or what? You turn all your churches into... It is a city. Everywhere I'm from is very, very small. Very, very small. This is a city, and it's exciting to me as well. Like when I first moved to Dalston, and maybe Norwich has got a bit of this vibe, right? Where I am in Dalston is like, has anyone heard of it? Yeah, okay. Well, you're from there? You went to see Kasabian in Dalston? Oh, well, this is diminishing now, guys. A guy who knew the bassist of Kasabian, who once cut the hair of the drummer's roadie in Dalston. This is giving the wrong impression, because like Dalston is not big enough or cool enough. I mean, it wants to be cool, but it's not. It's funny, because when I first moved there, it's one of these areas that's like going through a rapid regentrification. So like there used to be this cool mix of classes and cultures and ages and races, like really wicked melting pot. And now, yeah, you know, it's going a bit that way, you know, and like the prices are going up and it's a bit of a whitewash, whatever. Like, but when I first moved there, one of my super posh friends said to me, "Oh, Sarah, Dalston." And I was like, I don't like your tone. What? And she said, isn't Dalston a bit, you know, knifey? That's what people say about my home. And I got really defensive and I heard myself saying, actually, no, I think you'll find that with the onset of gentrification, if anything, it's very cheese knifey now. You must come over and have a lovely brie. The irony is you wouldn't use a cheese knife for brie, just probably a spoon will cut it. Now, it doesn't matter. It's just all reeling. Well, I'm just going to say hi to the stream. I love you. Hi. It was great meeting you all. Keep supporting live comedy. These twats are dead to us. Oh, no. Wait. You know when I was like, we survived. What if... The comic part of me is like, you should probably bring this back and not end by insinuating that the front row is dead in a ditch. But I'm not gonna. I love you, goodbye.
Sarah Bonetto, everybody! Cool, fun times, nice. I'm doing this. This is COVID secure microphone admin. There you go. Sort that out. Ooh, amazing the way he swapped one thing for another thing. Magic. Yeah, it's like. But you know how like when someone like does a cool speech or a rap. And then at the end of it, they like drop the microphone and walk off. And that's how you know that they're cool or they said something good. It's just like breaking a mic recklessly at the beginning of a thing. Well, that's cool. Well, then setting up and exchanging a microphone for COVID safety and sanitization reasons before a performance is probably the direct opposite of cool. And I'm happy to wear that. I'm happy to own it and have it be part of my brand. Thank you very much. Are we actually concerned for the health of white party of three? No, we don't care. You don't give a shit. We don't want to be like we don't think there's any problems. We don't need to like send a search party, Farah search party or two for white. No, fuck them. Okay, fuck them. That's fine. Not. That's fine. Look, they were like this long before you got here. Norwich's complete apathy at the for the welfare of absentees, and it's true. I back you up. I'm only pretending to care, just to seem nice. Cool. Well, do you want another act?
Yeah.
That's good, because you're going to get one. In fact, I'm gonna do one of those things, that people do when they get compares, they come and they make people start the applause and then they pass it all around and that tedious thing. I'm gonna do that, right? But because everyone's so far away and you're all split out in your little groups, and because I haven't got half a fucking front row to bully, and you're all too nice, and so I don't want to do it, I got the seating plan printed out. So you all think you're safe at the back there? Not so much. Unfortunately, the stage is printed out this way, but the names are printed out the other way, so I have to do it like this. O'Mahony, party of 3. Hey, there you go. All right, we need some enthusiasm from you, O'Mahony, party of 3. Turns out I'm not the only person with a ridiculous name. Please start the cheering and applause now, O'Mahony. Everybody else, pass it around. Get ready. Emanating out from the O'Mahonys to everybody for the fabulous Andrew O'Neill.
Yeah! The cry goes up. Dog sharpener! The old man wheeling his baleful contraption. Dog sharpener! Beagles, bassets, whippets or danes, better with a sharp edge or tapered to a point. Dog sharpener! A female voice. All right, mate, do you do cats? Sorry, love, only dogs. Dog sharpener! Go on, surely you've got time you can do a cat. Sorry, love, if I do a cat, I'll get kicked out the guild. Dog sharpener! And now a masculine voice. All right, mate, how much for a terrier? Which end? Well, both ends. £5. Dog sharpener! Here, if you could do a little terrier, you can do a cat. Fuck off, love. The cat bloke comes round next week. And then the process begins. The whirring, the sparking, the grinding, and the whimpering. There you go, mate. Careful with that. That's razor sharp, that is. Dog sharpener! Now, there are several questions raised, aren't there? By that particular piece of theatre. Probably the first question, do the dogs enjoy it? God, no. No, they die. Now then. Put on your oven glove, put on your oven glove, put on your oven glove, the flapjacks are ready. That's my theme tune. So good evening. My name is Andrew O'Neill and I am a freak of nurture. Later on in the show, 20 things that are too heavy for Danny DeVito to lift. But before we get to that, a couple of clarifications. Clarification number 1, the hip-hop group is called the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah? But the family of Scottish sunbed operating ghosts is the Wu-Tang Clan. All right? So, clarification number 1. Clarification number 2, the Scottish comedian, arguably the greatest living stand-up, is Billy Connolly. But the outcrop of tiny humans living on an IKEA bookcase is a Billy Colony. So, got that sort of thing. Dog sharpener. Have you ever had a shit so big it's made you panic? Today, yeah. Me too, actually. So I came up with a bit. That, to me, is evidence against the existence of God. I'm not designed for this. There is no blind watchmaker. I will be addressing the big questions during the show. Are fishnet tights vegan? Now that Lemmy from Motorhead is dead, who's got all of his Nazi memorabilia? The big questions. If the Pope shits in the woods and there's no one there to see it, does the Catholic Church cover that up too? But I think probably the worst thing about being non-binary is people constantly assuming you have magical powers. You know, like a unicorn. You know, quite often I'll be making my way down the shops wearing like a skirt and makeup. There'll be maybe a football match on nearby, a load of pissed up football fans around. I'm going to get some grief off these blokes, you know, and sure enough, they're like, oi, mate! Fucking hell, here we go. Yeah? Show us your magical powers! Fuck's sake. I haven't got any, mate. You're thinking of unicorns. Is that not what you are? No, I'm just non-binary. Oh! Sorry! Right. Don't worry about it. My mistake! On your way! Stay safe. If you don't know what non-binary is, it is someone whose job it is to explain to people what pronouns are. Dad, there's someone at the door. What do they want? They want you to use non-binary pronouns. Tell them to fuck off! I spent most of the pandemic living in Milton Keynes, against my will. And basically, a family tragedy happened that I haven't yet found a suitable punchline for. Grief! And so I unexpectedly now have to raise an 11-year-old child, and she lived in Milton Keynes. Again, not her decision. So we're raising my niece, and so we had to move to Milton Keynes. I used to live in London, which, as you'll be aware, is correct. That's where you're supposed to live, and not fucking Milton Keynes. But then I had to move to Milton Keynes, and I was a bit worried because, like, back in the 90s, right, when I first started, sort of presenting a more sort of gender presentation, right, I used to get a lot of shit on the street, people shouting at me and that sort of thing. And I did wonder, moving back to Milton Keynes, if it would be like moving back in time to a less enlightened place, right? But it wasn't that bad. I lived in New Bradwell. Now, here's the thing. Number one, there are no non-binary people living in Milton Keynes, right? Because I have moved out. And number two, I travel the country, travel around the world doing this job, right? And I just look like this. And on the whole, I find that people are becoming much more open to, queerness and different sexualities, different gender presentations, right? And this was borne out by Milton Keynes. Because I didn't get aggro. What I got from the people of Milton Keynes, right, was a sort of benign fascination. People in Milton Keynes looked at me as like people look at a new £20 note. They're like, oh, I heard we were getting these. That's the first one I've seen though in real life. It's like funny money, isn't it? It's like funny money. No, it's like funny money, isn't it? It's like funny money. The pandemic was enhanced for me by adopting the practice of suffering fools gladly. Because pre-pandemic, I was very much the sort of person who didn't suffer fools gladly, and during COVID, that made me very unhappy. But now that I've adopted the practice of suffering fools gladly, it's lightened my life. Now I can be like, an unmasked man coughing on the courgettes. Good! I strongly recommend it. But I strongly recommend it. A bodybuilder, weird voice entrepreneur. He looks like He-Man, sounds like Skeletor. My mother-in-law. Here we go. My mother-in-law. But no, lockdown was made a lot more difficult for me and my partner because we had a lot of trouble with cowboy builders. We moved into this new place and doing this kind of parenting thing, and thought, I don't know if you've had a similar experience with cowboy builders. It's fucking rotten, right? Because basically, I'll give you a bit of the context. We're trying to get a cowboy built, and it's been an absolute fucking nightmare because you Google cowboy builders, right, and none of them seem to be any good at it. The reviews are terrible, all of them. They're all pissing in sinks and fat. So, no, we just abandoned the idea at the end. Now, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear dragon. Happy birthday to you. Hooray! Blow out the candles! Jesus Christ! Why did we buy a flammable cake? Now, she sells seashells on the seashore. Worst business plan ever. I mean, at least go as far as the town. What possible motivation is there for people to part with their hard-earned cash for seashells they're fucking standing on? No, you can't have a business development loan. Get out of my bank. Yes, I'm drinking in the bank. It's my bank. If there's one advantage to owning your own bank, it's that you make the rules. The thing that probably worried me most during the pandemic, apart from friends and family and that sort of thing, I got obsessed with the idea of the plight of a person who is training to do their first rodeo. Because I would imagine, I don't know how long it takes to train to do a rodeo. Let's say it's 2 weeks, 2 full-time weeks, 20-hour weeks, right? So, 40-hour weeks, rather, full-time weeks, so 80 hours, right? You know, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, break for lunch. No vegan options, apparently, at the rodeo. Very meat-based, the rodeo culture. And for that whole time, you must be absolutely fucking bursting to use the phrase, this isn't my first rodeo, but, you know, it is, so you can't. And I can imagine, particularly if you have a particularly patronising rodeo instructor, okay, welcome to rodeo school. This is a horse. Yeah, it's not... What was that? No, nothing. Now, this can only be heightened during the course of the day of your first rodeo. You've got your certificate. I don't know if you get a certificate. Maybe you get a hat, right, with Rodeo on it, whatever it is, right? And during that whole... You've got, oh, fuck it, you know, oh, you're quite good at doing the rodeo, aren't you? Yeah, this isn't... What? Nothing. However, I don't know if you've ever been on a long National Express coach journey where the toilet has been broken, right? Because the piss you have after that almost makes the discomfort worth it. I would imagine having spent 2 weeks in training, 1 week, 1 day of a whole rodeo, the day of your second rodeo is a glorious day, right? And now I imagine by this point, you've learnt a bit of self-control. You're not just going to blurt out, this isn't my first rodeo at the first set. No, you might even wait all day until right at the end of the day, the absolute star of the rodeo, the rodeo star, right? It goes up to you and goes, you're very good at this. And you go, well... No. This isn't my first rodeo. And then he rips off his mask to reveal it's Jeremy Beadle. And then he goes around the back of your head and he unplugs 2 wires and your vision goes blurry and you realise that your memory of the last month has been implanted in your brain and it is your first rodeo. And Jeremy Beadle starts going, it's your first rodeo, it's your first rodeo. And then he pulls his mask off to reveal it's Jeremy Clarkson. And then he pulls another mask off and it's Jeremy Corbyn. And then another mask and it's Rusty Lee for some reason. And then another mask and it's Jeremy Beadle's face. And then another one, it's Jeremy Beadle's face, only smaller. And then he keeps pulling off and Jeremy Beadle's head just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then he goes, here's the video of you being in virtual reality for a month. And you get the video, smack him round the head with it. And everybody else around you starts singing Video Killed the Radio Star. So that's what I've been worrying about. The people who say, I work hard and I play harder are the same people who say, I'm always tired. Well, this is fucking lovely. Thanks for coming out. Doing stand-up comedy is my favourite thing in the whole world, and I've been able to do it for 5 months, so thank you for facilitating that. I'm aware you weren't here to give me that, but you have done, so thanks. Because it's a communal thing, isn't it, comedy? It's quite important that we have these sort of shared experiences. Thank you very much for feeding William. Sort of, you know, nostalgia. You know, younger people don't get... I apologise for my out-of-date cultural references. Anybody under 20, just, you know, the whole Jeff Capes ending just to set that out, right? But French polishers, it's just possible you could save my life. Were the Umbongo adverts racist? I'm pretty sure they were. It's too long ago to fully remember the context. But but I'm well aware that a younger audience, I need to update my material, basically, because I haven't got a pension and my audience is dying. So so we'll just do a quick demographic sweep, right? So I'm 41, right? No! Or, as I like to call it, 40, because I don't really count the last year. And Facebook memory saying that was 2 years ago. It can't have been. No, it was. So I'm 41. Give me a shout if you're younger than me. Give me a shout if you're older than me. So it's a slightly older crowd. Okay, cool. So give me a shout if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Oh, sorry, COVID. They're gone. A faux pas. Awkward. Any obese asthma sufferer? Oh, shit. Topical. Right, so who's in their 30s? No. Okay. Only just. Today. Happy birthday. Who's in their 20s? Do we have any teenagers? Yay! Sorry about global warming. We did that, sorry. We burnt everything in the 90s, sorry. Right, so here's a bit of material, right? Because I want to include everybody, because we've all been through it. This is a communal experience, right? And we want to experience this together. So I'm going to make sure that nobody's excluded. I'm going to do some material that anybody under 30, I promise, or just 30, I promise you'll get the reference, okay? I promise you get these references, right? This is a joke for the young people. The older people get it as well, but the young people want to include them, right? Do you know what I mean? Because I haven't got a mortgage on anything, so I promise there's material for the young people. I promise you'll get it, right? Here we go. What's the matter? I lost my phone. Do you want me to ring it? Yes, I'm silent. So there you go. Now, sorted, right? Lovely stuff. Job done. So the thing I'd like to leave you with, well, there's a couple of things. The first is, here comes the crab meat man, selling his meat from a stinking bin. Here comes the crab meat man, don't look him in the eyes. Here comes the crab meat man, selling his meat from a stinking bin. Here comes the crab meat man, don't ask him where his wife is. There's that. There's that bit. Felt it was important to share with you. What I would like to leave you with, apart from a sense of well-being and some hope for the future, it's the simple fact, ladies and gentlemen, and the gender progressive, the simple fact that the best bit in the Bond theme, Goldfinger, right, is the bit where she goes, but don't go in it. It's the best bit. So, okay, well, I mean, look, it's I was hoping for a bit more from that. It's a socially distant show. There's not quite as much. I'm sure at home, I'm just saying the best bit in the Bond theme, Goldfinger, is a bit where she goes, but don't go in, and it's the don't look for things that aren't there. So, like, do you know every Bond film, it's got like its own theme tune in it, and the one for Goldfinger, the best bit in that song is the bit where she goes, but don't go in, and it's the okay, no, look, it's honestly, it's fine, it's fine. We've not done this for a while, have we? It's fine, so I can't expect miracles. Goldfinger, ba-ba-da-ba-la-la. He's the man with the Midas touch. A spider's touch. Such a cold finger. Ba-ba-da-ba-la-la. Beckons you in to join him in his web of sin. Here it comes, but don't go in. It's the best bit, isn't it? It's the best bit. Thank you very much, thank you. Look, come on. Thank you. Credit where credit's due, you're really clapping Dame Shirley, aren't you? Let's be fair, you know. But don't go in. And it's the best bit, isn't it? It's the best bit. It's the bit that everyone looks forward to, isn't it? It's like 5 gold rings in the 12 Days of Christmas, isn't it? But don't go in. It's the best bit. There's not a single song that would not be improved with the addition of that line. But don't go in. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. But don't go in. It's better, isn't it? It's better. He lives in a house, a very big house in the country. But don't go in. Club Tropicana drinks are free, but don't go in. There's a magical place, we're on our way there. Toys and their millions all under one roof, but don't go in. Jim will fix it for you. You didn't laugh enough at the Toys R Us one, that's your fault. Look, what an absolute pleasure and an absolute delight. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for letting us do the thing that we like doing best. Keep supporting live comedy, and look, fucking, the future's rosy. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much. I'm Andrew O'Neill. Good night.
Andrew O'Neill! What a fucking dreamboat they are. Wow. Have you had a nice first half? Yay! Do you want an interval? Because it is dependent on a vote. How many for interval? How many for interval? Hands up for an interval. Interval. Join an interval. You're fucking getting an interval, whether you like it or not. And it's going to be now, because that's the way it's scheduled. So you can stay here and you can order some drinks. You can go over there and have a wee. You can go outside and please come back though. You can take up smoking or vaping or whatever the kids do. And why am I mansplaining an interval? It's not necessary, is it? It's not necessary. So just give it up for the acts that you've seen in the first half. You've seen Sarah Bonetto. And you've seen Andrew O'Neill. And that was it. So have an interval. It'll be a 15, 20 minutes. And I'll see you right here after that. Enjoy. This band, listen to Cheek Face. There's a new band that I'm putting on because they're good. Play it. Listen to them. They're called Cheek Face. Look them up. All right, so...
We all wondered what you thought. Why don't you downgrade your review? There's no letter in the health code for this busboy sniffing glue. You cut the cake. You lick the knife. You wipe away the crud of life. Killed myself for kindness, then I panicked by myself. I saw someone I admired. I wasn't learned it at school, you famous internet doofus. Adult recreation, and I'm losing every time. And if winning's half the battle, I'll take the other half. It's fine. There's a bunch of random rich guys in Male Feminists, the band. And as Sub Jan Stevens sang, I wanna hold your frickin' hand. Now I'm dead, sell my krill vinyl to the desperate Discogs guy. It's a big blank distraction of the mind. I'm going for my own jugular, or the jugular of someone who looks a lot like me. Happy to invite you, but you're gonna leave early. Of mice and men on ice is not the break you'd seem to need. There's bad mojo at the dojo with no air conditioning. Stage your parking space and take a chill pill for anxiety. I'm the Michael Phelps of eating snacks. The store's out of my size. It's a big blank distraction of the mind. I can do the easy parts. You only have to do the hard parts. Are my hands freakishly huge, and is that why everything slips through my fingers? Let's get canceled. Let's get canceled together. If I get canceled, I want to get canceled together. Exclusion is a gift, a silver medal, the end of youth, a couple packs of my favorite snacks. Dr. Dre, not Dr. Seuss. No tenants and no trees, no snowmobiles and no skis. Call your doctor immediately if you faceplant in the salad bowl. I'm doing this out of sheer boredom, over an Apple Store employee type beat. Sometimes I wonder if a single good thing exists on Earth. And then I eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Everything is boring now. I can't help it. I can't help it. Everything is boring now. I can't help it. I can't help it. An emoji for each stage of grief. Man, good luck looking good in anything. Human trash is everywhere, and the highlights get older every year. Everything is boring now. I can't help it. I can't help it. Exactly, Kevin. The moon just sits there, a blood blister. I knew you were full of from the moment you called yourself a straight shooter, a supreme corpse, too busy looking at someone else's phone. 600 white guys have formed a line to give me advice, but I'm the kind of person who'd carry around a pocket constitution, so you don't need to buy me one because I already have one. Every night is a celebration for some reason. For these rich goth teens wearing Marilyn Manson makeup in search of a second bagel, there's always some reason to talk about yourself. Are you in line, discarding an empty bag of smooth jazz electrolytes? And of course I relate to Lena Dunham. I relate to every annoying genius. Don't get hit by a car. Everything is boring now. I can't help it. I can't help it. Everything is boring now. I can't help it. I can't help it. An emoji for each stage of grief. Man, good luck looking good in anything. Human trash is everywhere, and the highlights get older every year. Everything is boring now. I can't help it. I can't help it. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. You are not hungry, but you could still eat. You pour the paint. The color is blue. There's nothing wrong with your face. Mine looks like that too. You're no longer fine with the way that things are. Your heroes are dead, and so I guess you're the hero now. People say a lot of interesting stuff when you take your headphones off and you drop your phone into the toilet of history. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only run the air when it's warm out. I only text the friends that I like now. I only talk trash if I thought it out. And everything's okay. No replaced everyone else on your flight with crying babies. And you're the second person pissing in a pissing contest. But you could spread your arms and be in airplane mode. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only run the air when it's warm out. I only text the friends that I like now. I only talk trash if I thought it out. And everything's okay, nothing is on fire. I already burnt it all, and it's just stashed now. I only drive the car if I can't walk around. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. I only say I'm sorry when I'm wrong now. Let's do the mortal coil shuffle, the cumulative average of wasted time, anxiety plus caffeine. Every pleasure is guilty and the pleasure is mine. Only one of us is keeping score of the game. Where'd you get the band name? Where'd you get the band name? Edible arrangements. Everything is okay. Got my old phone replaced. Now I do nothing faster than I did yesterday. And I took off my shades just to fall on my face. It was such a disaster that I canceled my date. Like I did before, life is long like a CVS receipt. Not much to do unless you eat your cake and dance like wedding guests. Life is long, there's no laundry left to clean. Not much to say unless you have a slow joke you wanted to tell, I guess. Let's do the in limbo limbo, the emergency alert for celebrity net worth. Oh man and oh man. A man, a plan, a plain bagel and an omelet. One more song, one more song. Yeah, we're getting famous, but they still spell our name wrong. Some personal news. Everything is okay. Got my old phone replaced. Now I do nothing faster than I did yesterday. And I took off my shades just to fall on my face. It was such a disaster that I canceled my date. Like I did before, life is long like a CVS receipt. Not much to do unless you eat your cake and dance like wedding guests. Life is long, there's no laundry left to clean. Not much to say unless you have a slow joke you wanted to tell, I guess. Life is long like a CVS receipt. Not much to do unless you eat your cake and dance like wedding guests. Life is long, there's no laundry left to clean. Not much to say unless you have a slow joke you wanted to tell, I guess. There's unlimited breadsticks in a buffet line. Thanks for the warm play, but I already filled it with the kind of things you were offering me. Did you think I would change? Well, I guess you'll see your discipline and self-control are fine. It means so much from someone I admire. Let's clear the air, cause it sucks to be social. No need to touch me in an overly friendly way when the disappointment is coming. Just let me have this one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And there's no need to remind me, I already know. 2, 3, be loyal like me, enjoy life with the currency. 2, 3, be loyal like me and waste the gift, it came for free. I do drugs off my friends' bodies, I grind the beans and burn them into coffee steam. Sending our heartfelt apologies from the royal we about self-improvement, capitalism, deregulation, and eating a bagel. Thanks for the invite, but I'm too not going. I work on forgetting today, every day. I suck at something today, every day. It looks like broken and I mean it anyway. And almost always every day. S-T-O-P-P-E-L-I-E-V-I-N-G. S-T-O-P-P-E-L-I-E-V-I-N-G. Treasure, but it was broken. Do you work here? Do you think you can help me front row at the show? I am looking down at my phone. I found the treasure, but it was broken. Do you work here? Do you think you can help me? Emergency alert. Raid the band merch for a clean t-shirt. I paint a line on the sidewalk you are not allowed to cross. Play the homecoming game, won't take my uniform off. Just back coffee all over myself on Sunset Boulevard, but no one saw. One dog named iPhone and the other named Galaxy. One folded pizza and my face itches constantly. One part cryptocurrency and one part ancient history. We only got 2 songs left. Is this a good time? Is this a good time? I never don't panic, so I always don't try. Is this a good time? Is this a good time? I never don't panic, so I always don't try. I found the treasure, but it was broken. Do you work here? Do you think you can help me front row at the show? I am looking down at my phone. I found the treasure, but it was broken. Do you work here? Do you think you can help me? Emergency alert. Raid the band merch for a clean t-shirt. Nice haircut, nice charcoal lemonade. I woke up late for Earth and it made me late for heaven. I regret to inform you, you're not invited to the wedding, but you're welcome at the funeral. I'm sorry, was that petty? Well, the line is getting long. If you want excessive drama, it's not art, it's something else. It's a good thing you're in good health. There's no cookies for the dead. No cops in a world of one. No masters in a world of one. Black eyes, black eyeliner and hair. Bury me with the sock and the sexy national anthem. Black eyes, black legs. into welding. Well, I think it will do wonders for your industrial cred. I am sleeping with my eyes open, mixing Zoloft and smart water to make NyQuil for the soul. The dumb part is almost over now. It's my last day in this warehouse. When I die, leave me alone. And they say that our bodies are made of 2/3 water and 1/3 shame. No cops in a world of one. No masters in a world of one. Black eyes, black eyeliner and hair. Bury me with the socks and the sexy national anthem. Black eyes, black leather and flowers. Bury me with my drama, the sexy national anthem. No cops in a world of one. No Cheez-Its in a world of one. Black eyes, black eyeliner and hair. Bury me with the sock tan, the sexy national anthem. Black eyes, black leather and flowers. Bury me with my drama, the sexy national anthem. Don't ask, or I might tell you. I'm in the land of the big TVs. Like a kid, the day after Christmas. Exchange your refund. Listen to me. The man bun guy.
People of Norwich Arts Centre, please welcome back Tom Clutterbuck! Shouldn't have done that. I've not stretched for a year and a half. It's good. A friend asked me when he knew I was doing this show again. He was like, "Can you still fit into your suit?" I was like, fucking cheek. Yeah, I can fit into the suit. I didn't check. And as we can see, I can fit into the suit, but it's not a lot of fun. The belt, definitely just decorative. It's not. I probably should go down a notch. I honestly think I injured something. Just, there we go. Right. Oh, this is good, isn't it? Professional. Did you have a good interval? Yeah. Did you take up vaping? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Have you ever seen, I've seen like teenagers like sort of like egging each other on to like get into vaping. Like it used to be peer pressure for fags. Like, but like, should we have a go on that? Like it's starting doing vaping like it's a cool trend. Like it's like, no, it should be a thing that you do to stop doing a vice that's stupid. Like, but they made it cool because it tastes like My Little Ponies or something like. You know, it's always like a sort of hench dude like huffing on his robo-fag walking down the street, exhaling, and then you just kind of go like, oh, watermelon Jolly Rancher. It's just like it's real cognitive dissonance by the way they look. You know, there's a dude who permanently looks like he's carrying 2 suitcases. You know, the types like sort of, yeah, blueberries. Like it's really weird. It doesn't make sense. And And also, I'm not even sure how healthy. It's not healthy, is it? Because it's like, I mean, there's fags. No, I mean, no one wants their lungs to look like the inside of an ashtray, but also you don't want your lungs to look like the inside of a candy floss maker. It's sugary lungs, you know, because we don't know. There are no like 80-year-olds who vape their whole lives. We don't know what they're like. Like my uncle Vic worked in a sawmill and smoked his entire life, and like he lived till he was 101 day. Because he'd always told everyone he was 100 years old. He said, I'm 100 years old. And my grandmother was like, no, you're bloody not. No, when you were born, you're not 100. And he'd just tell everyone he was 100. And he was hard as fucking nails. He used to do this thing where he would shake your hand, and then he would just put the other hand on your elbow like that. And then you couldn't leave. And you'd be like, and you'd be in the old people's home going, ha, 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 that's a good Uncle Vic. All right, cool. Nurse! And he'd just be there for like 45 minutes. But he used to tell everyone he was 100. Oh, 100. And then he lived till he was 100. And then he was like, bing, I'm out. See you later. Next day, just checked out. Thanks, guys. Thank you. See you later. But he smoked like cigarettes, and he worked in a sawmill, and he just inhaled whole trees. It's like, yeah, and he was just like, and he had this ridiculous like thing like that. But he was fucking hard as nails. He could crush you to bits. But I think people are like, you know, smoked My Little Ponies their entire lives. They're just gonna like, I don't know, turn into Rainbow Bright or something like that. I don't know where I'm going with this. I had no. This is not a bit about vaping that I've got. I'm literally I was just freestyling. I mean, I don't expect your sympathy just because I didn't plan to speak. Most conversations aren't scripted, but most of them made more sense than what I just said. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So you're having a good night so far? Yeah. Cool. I see we've populated the front row. This is brilliant. But you are people from the back, right? This is not White Search Party 3 with some explanations. People from that. But how is it at the front compared to being at the back? It's a perfectly good answer. It's pragmatism, and that's all I wanted. You know, it's great. That's all we want from everyone. Just practical descriptions of how things are going. Sir, you just took a sip of your beer. How was it? Delicious. There we go. That's good. Although that was a bit more sort of like rhetorical, qualitative. Yeah. Wet. Cold and wet? Yeah. Okay. We can send it back. No idea where I'm going with this. It's just, I just feel like connecting with you all. This is it's so lovely just to have people in the room being nice. You've been a fabulous audience so far. The acts have all, had a lovely time. They all told me Sarah had to rush off and get her train, but she's like absolutely ecstatic about being here to talk to you all. It's been really nice. It's been really nice so far. No, I thought I was going somewhere else with that, but no. Basically, like I was sort of on it in the first half, but I've very much overheated in this suit, and I'm not prepared for it. And like I said, I haven't spoken to anyone other than like my parents for more than like an afternoon. Like I spent about 10 days with them a little while ago. And that's 10 times longer than I would usually spend in the company of my parents, because I'm usually like, I've got an excuse basically. That's the reason but I was like, I didn't like move home like a loser. I just didn't have an excuse, so I had to come and visit. And usually I would sorry, just the snort laugh. I just can't help myself. We all got it. We all got it. It's deviated septum. It's just go see a doctor. Not right now. Wait till they're less busy. So I visited my family, and because I usually have an excuse because I'm off on tour a lot of the time when COVID hasn't decimated my industry. And not that I'm like a big, important comedian, but I usually do like technical stuff for big, important comedians, press all the buttons and do the lights and things, which is sort of weird because like not many people are technician and performer. They're kind of like rival gangs, really. So I like to think that I'm like, my top half is Jet, but I'm a shark from the waist down. Yeah. That's why it's my nickname for my knob is Maria. So masturbation could be like a forbidden romance. Tonight. Okay. It's not out here. That's just. Yeah. But I noticed hanging out with my parents, spending a bit more time with them. I noticed a lot of strange idiosyncrasies of the way they say things that I hadn't really paid attention to before. Like there's like, because I haven't lived with them for ages, obviously. So there are loads of things that they've said my entire life and I haven't really paid attention to. But like now, spending a bit more time with them, I noticed that like my mum, like whenever she says fish, not in the context of like just the animal or like the verb to fish, but whenever it's for dinner, she always pronounces it fish. No idea where it came from, it's just fish. Like this, like she's Terry Jones in The Meaning of Life. Fishy, fishy, fish. But she doesn't say it like that any of the rest of the time. It's just in the context of dinner. And I'm like, okay, that's strange idiosyncrasy, but not a big deal. But then there's another thing that I've noticed she does, where whenever she says cup of tea, not in the context of like in the morning, first thing of a cup of tea, she's like, cup of tea. But if she comes home from the shops and she's tired and really wants a cup of tea, she pronounces it cup of tea. It's like, I couldn't have murder a cup of tea. Sort of does this face, becomes sort of a bit wretched and, a cup of tea. And she's done it my whole life, and I'd never really paid attention to what it was. And I was like, this time in COVID, because I've got nothing else to think about, I'm like, what are you doing? What is that act out? And I realised that it's like, she's just got that little bit of like an impression of like an estuary person, right? Because it's like there's an inherent classism. It's just, cup of tea, like a builder, like what they like. You know, and she's not the only person to be classist about tea. I mean, when people say builder's tea, don't they? Usually when they mean PG tips as opposed to Lady Grey, or like if it's milky with 2 sugars. And like, I'm not going to get like, I'm not going to get super woke about like that. You can keep saying builder's tea if you want. I'm not going to come for you. This is a safe space. But it's definitely what's happening. It's definitely classism, and that's definitely what my mum's doing. It's just a cup of tea. But what I find weird about it is like it's not like she does the whole story like that. She comes back from the shops and she's like, fucking hell, I've just been at Marks and Spencer's. Yeah, couldn't understand the one-way system, and there's some prick coming out there. And I was like, oi, cunt, get out of the fucking way. I'll give you a fucking elbow bump to the nose, you prick, yeah. Put a kettle on, Tom. Couldn't I murder a cup of tea? All right, Mum, calm down. What's for dinner? Right, we've got Finder's crispy pancakes. We've got bird's eye potato waffles and fish. All right, everybody ready for the first act of the second half? Yay! Well, that's good, because I'm running out of things to say. So this is going to be really good, because they're a very good friend of mine. In fact, all of the acts that we've got on tonight are very good friends of mine. Basically, this booking has just been me getting to hang out with my mates. So thank you for all coming and buying tickets to that and indulging our catch-up. But fortunately, I've got some really funny mates. I don't know if you'd noticed. So yes, and I'm going to show another one of them to you. So if you could do a warm round of applause. Hang on, we're going to pick someone. Right, who else we got? Miller. Have we got some Miller in the house? Party of Miller. Okay, Miller party. Very quiet in the back there, just because there isn't a spotlight on you, but I know where you are. I've got the plan. You can please start the applause, medium applause, and go. Bit more than medium, Miller, come on. Bit more gusto into it, bit of cheering. Emanate out from Miller, a little bit of everyone else out to Karate. Give it up for Jim Campbell!
Hello! How you doing, Norwich? I haven't seen you in a while, for obvious reasons. How is everyone, we good? Oh, it's genuinely just so lovely to be out and about and here, and just and it's just nice. It's been Oh, God, it's fucking great. So, hello, thanks for coming out. So, I'm Jim. I learned a lot about myself during the pandemic, and the main thing I learned is that my personality is just perfectly suited to a pandemic. It's been fine, mostly. So, but we're at the point now where people are starting to sort of like announce their lockdown achievements, aren't they? And it's just like, can you just fuck off a little bit with your novel and like your book deal and like whatever, yeah. I've like, you know, I've got really into box sets of wine, admittedly. I have to say though, it's not a box, is it? It's a bag. We all know that. So there's a bag in there. It's the bag is actually the best part of the whole endeavour because it makes the whole thing portable. But as a society, we are missing out on that because we've decided for some reason that it's not acceptable to suck wine out of a bag with the tap on it on the bus or wherever. So we miss out on the best thing of an amazing invention. So I have also watched every movie I have even a passing interest in, so that's been good. Got all the way down to Rambo Last Blood. Never thought that would be the case, which, if you're not familiar with it, is the 5th movie in the Rambo series, right? And not a single person involved with it thought to call it Rambo number 5. What an unbelievable waste. What a waste. So yeah, I mean, I did try and achieve some things. I tried to get in shape, you know, tried to just be better by the end of it. Try and get a little bit of body confidence going because I'm generally speaking, I'm quite an anxious person. I'm very introverted. I'm not really what you call an alpha male. Like I've definitely slept with more women than I've had sex with. But yeah, so I tried to get in shape, and I did have one pretty major lockdown achievement, which is that I got a 6-pack. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. And then I fell into a canal and lost it. So I'd imagine you've got some questions about that. So I'll try and fill you in as best I can. So essentially, I mean, when I say I lost it, it's not like still in there. Like it didn't, like my abs didn't fall out of my body like a dropped bag of apples. But effectively, what happened was I was on a canal boat, and then I stepped off of it, and I just sort of missed, and like I wasn't on a canal boat anymore. I was just in a canal. So I mean, I didn't even really fall into a canal. I stepped into a canal, and like I mean. Self-respect and I have got a strained relationship at the best of times. So, but like after that, you really cement a certain idea of the type of person that you are. And the weird thing is, like when I fell in, there were a lot of other clumsy, hapless men already in there, like just like frightened to come out from where this has happened to them before. And then they were all trying to keep me in there, like, no, you stay here. This is who you are. No abs for you. Honestly, if you look at any canal just below the surface, they are just, it's thrumming with these men who can't bear to come out. So that was the day the pubs opened. Like, that is how ill-prepared I am for coming back into the world. So, yeah, so I mean, like, I was trying to sort of like get in shape, make myself a little bit of a catch, because I am a 38-year-old single male comedian, which is the exact profile of the guy that like the blogs warn you about, right? And like 38-year-old like straight male single comedian who fell into a canal is not. It's not a step up the rung, is it? Shall we say? It's not a step up the ladder. So. Yeah, I mean, like, I've been single for a long time, and I know that's the thing that you hear comedians say often, and often they're lying just because they've got material about being single, but like, I really have been single for a long time. For context, I've been single since Obama. Like, so much has happened in that time, just like in everybody's lives, and like, obviously there's been up and downs in that period. Like, I had some pretty bleak moments, to be honest, but I learned a lot about myself in that time. I learned that mental health issues can, at times, in some ways, be as debilitating as physical disabilities. And I also learned that being caught using a disabled toilet by a wheelchair user is not the time to express that view. But, we all grow and learn about our own ignorance in different ways, don't we? So, yeah. I've learned a lot about moping as well, right? Like sometimes, like when you feel a bit glum and you're moping, you'll have people, like, your friends will try and sort of lift you up and go, oh, come on, no, just be positive, it's going to be good. But you have to mope through it. You have to do it at your own pace, because if people are telling you to try and be positive and you can't, it feels like a failure, which is completely unfair. And you just feel like you're failing. And you'll just be sat about, you know, in your pants, procrastinating, just feeling like a complete mess. But it's just, you know, you got to go at your own pace. And like, love is a weird thing, isn't it? Because it is the most important thing any of us will ever do, really, when it comes down to it. And we're not educated about it in any formal way. So we pick up our ideas about this huge, huge important thing via osmosis from culture. We, like, in Britain in particular, we learn about it from things like Love Actually, which is just like so, it just not set you up for it. And we all know the type of British man that is like negatively affected by that. The kind of guy that's like, oh my, like, oh my God, I am such a hopeless romantic. Like, I'm such a hopeless romantic. Like, I fall in love on the train every single day. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I know what you mean. You mean that you stare. I mean that you stare at women and you force them to worry about whether or not you might follow them home. That's not romantic, is it? Not Colin Firth because you're holding your Kindle rather than your penis. It's also not hopeless, is it? Because you don't have to do it. There's no reason for that. So, yeah. So, I mean, and you end up looking closer to home as well for an example of love, whether you plan to or mean to or not. Because, you know, our parents' marriages, however chaotic they may or may not be, are the model that we base our own relationships on. And like, my parents are still together, very happily married, but they are of that generation where they don't really, my dad in particular, doesn't really talk about feelings very much. So when he does express feelings to my mum, it's him saying things like, you do know, if anyone ever hurt you, I'd kill them. Happy birthday. Like, I am amazed that the bakery will even make such an aggressive cake. Every year. Poor old dad. Right. It should be fair to him. He has not been the same since the accident, which is what I call my little brother. Yeah. But, you know, obviously there are good things to having been single since Obama as well. The one thing is that I haven't had an argument in the street with anyone in a long time. So, do we have any couples here that argue in the street? You fucking liars. All right, maybe a bit more accessible. Any couples here that have ever enjoyed watching another couple argue in the street? And it's just the best, right? Oh, football's our national sport. It's fucking not. It's watching people we don't know just disintegrating emotionally in front of us. And like, when you're in that situation, people are so just disrespectful of your boundaries. They're so openly involved in just enjoying it. They'll like little conga line of Schadenfreude will form, just sort of following you around, going, yeah, go on, love. Tell it like it is, yeah. He seems like the type who seems to make more of an effort with your mum, yeah. Like, fuck up, you don't know me. Horrible shit. So, yeah. Also, I mean, like, even in a pandemic, being objective, there's never been a better time to be a single person, because if you want to arrange a date with somebody, you can just go on a dating app and do that. And like, we've had various different systems in the past. None of them are as efficient as that. I mean, it used to be that if you wanted to meet someone, you had to go and like just go to a bar or a club and dance at them. Like, that's flawed, isn't it? That's not a good system. And like my parents' generation, a lot of them met in supermarkets, and that was like a normal thing. You'd go down the supermarket, and if you like the look of someone, you just sort of say hi to them. But the language of dating has changed so much. It's all based online now. It's all just like, it's just from digital messaging. So how would you do that? Well, you like the look of somebody, you go up to them with an aubergine and go, Like, we don't know how to do that anymore. So, yeah. Weird old thing, been a weird old time. So, you know, at the beginning of becoming a newly single person, I sort of wanted to go on a journey of sexual self-discovery. I've always been quite shy, quite repressed, and I thought, well, this is an opportunity to change that. I thought I'd try and become a sex person. Do you know what I mean by sex people? Like, the sort of people that they're just shagging all the time, and it's just like it's the most natural thing in the world. Like, you know, sort of people that have threesomes. And they act like it's really normal, and like you're a fucking weirdo because like you don't fuck a couple of people on the way to work that you've never met. Like, And they always say the same thing. It's just like, oh, you know, it's like a threesome. You know, they just sort of happen, don't they? And no, they fucking don't. Like, I've been on this planet for 38 years, and at no point has a gangbang just erupted underneath me because I happened to be sat in a trio. Like, what is this magic that you're working? And I think there are more of these people about than we realise. And the thing that makes me think that is budget hotels, right? Because you book a budget hotel, a Premier Inn, let's say, right? You go to Premier Inn, you go to your room, it's got your double bed that you'd expect, and then next to it, it's just another bed. It's a little sneaky little bonus bed. It's like, and it's not an expensive hotel room. It's like, are there that many people that they're catering for this? That there's like, you know, there's room for the third one that these people magically seduce at the buffet. Like, astonishing to me. I should confess that I have technically taken part in a threesome, but the third person just watched and was a spider. But, you know, I'm going to count it. So I think everyone's got a bit mad in the lockdown. Everyone's sort of like, just got really like fucking ready to go. Like, I got invited to a sex party a little while ago, which is very intriguing. But like, I'm just being really anxious because I just don't know what to wear. Like, what do you wear to a sex party? What do you wear to an orgy? The only thing that I'm sort of comfortable about wearing is my underwear, and only then. That's, you know, just because the waistband says next. Like, I've been trying to make that joke work for years. Finally. Yeah, so... yeah, it's been a weird one, isn't it? So, God, I shouldn't have done that hubristic little victory lap, because now I've forgotten what the next joke's going to be. It's completely on me, that. So, yeah. So, I mean, you want to be desirable, don't you? Effectively, you know, we all do that. When you're a sort of single, older person, the way I see it, you've got two options, right? Which is that you can try and you need to try and stay in shape. You need to try and be healthy and happy, like both mentally and physically, and you can try and make yourself distinguished and interesting, like John Hamm. You know, your other option is to not do any of those things and just be like Ham. So it's two things: it's John Hamm or just some ham. It's John Hamm or like just a big pile of ham. Like the processed ham that sweats in the packet. Do you know what I mean? Like it's dead, but it's sad. Like it's somehow communicating to you that it's in pain. It's fucking, why is it sweating? It's dead. Like, so those are your two options as far as I can tell. So yeah. Like I said at the top, I'm quite an anxious person. I'm quite a hormonal man. And I'm trying to sort of popularise the idea of describing our own behaviour as that as men, because you know, we like hormones. The hormones I feel are a mixture of adrenaline and cortisol, which is what makes anxiety. And everything we feel is a hormone, isn't it? But it's only women that are sort of ever described that way. You never see the headline "England out of World Cup, hormonal men smash up town centre," but like. But that's what's happening in those men's brains. Like it's so yeah. So I have a lot of imposter syndrome. But then you know you read about imposter syndrome, you hear about the people that have it. A lot of really talented people have imposter syndrome. So do I have imposter syndrome, or am I just a complete fraud? And like anxiety is a funny thing in that it's if you don't. Because it's one of those things, you can be anxious about a thing, everyone has that, but also sometimes you just have it for no reason. And when you have it no reason, it's like being forced onto a roller coaster by a version of yourself who hates you when you just want to make some toast. And then self-esteem issues, I think the best way to describe that, if you're a confident person that's never experienced them, is it's like James Corden. Right? Like you wake up to yourself and you think, this prick again. But a lot of them you can like sort of recognise them as being stupid. I have a lot of stupid anxieties. I have this kind of like sense that I'm a bad person, right, just for no reason, right? And there's a term in the psychiatric community for thinking you're a bad person for no reason, which is Catholicism. I'm not a religious person. Don't know where that's come from. I worry I'm not a good enough ally as well, because the generation we're seeing like rise up now, the amount of protests around the world, especially with all the stuff that's happening during a pandemic, are just inspiring and amazing. And like, I mean, I went on a gay pride march once, but if I'm completely honest, it's because I used to live in Brighton. I needed milk and it was on the way. Like I'm not really giving up my bone marrow, am I? So that really counts. A lot of silly worries as well. Like I worry about turning into my dad. Does anyone here worry about turning into my dad? Like turning into... Because like, I just worry, because he's sort of like, he's kind of given up on like making sense. You know, men get to a certain age, they don't really care about making sense anymore. Like, my dad's got about 10 opinions, right? And if he encounters a new thing, he'll just fit an opinion to that, rather than coming up with a new one. So, like, he thinks the same thing about French people that he thinks about cats, which is that they're aloof, that they refuse to speak English when they obviously can, and that they're determined to shit in his garden. And, like, it doesn't make sense, but he doesn't care. It's been getting very morbid as well over the lockdown as well. He keeps talking about death. And it's like, fucking hell, like, so I was, over Christmas, I think, well, how can I cheer him up? So I got in touch with Dignitas, the assisted suicide clinic, before Christmas, right? And can you believe it? They don't do vouchers. Like, it'd be like air miles. Like, you could rack that up over years, but no, apparently not. So, yeah, he keeps saying that he doesn't want a funeral. He keeps going, don't worry about a funeral for me. You know, just save the money. If you want, you can just stick me in a bin bag, chuck me in a skip, right? And I appreciate that he just wants to save us some money, and he's doing a nice thing. But at the same time, like, that's so much more complicated than having a funeral, isn't it? There's going to be so many questions, so many relatives. Like, where is he? Like, what happened to him? And would also mean the last thing that we do as a family, the last shared activity, would us be just cutting him up into manageable sized pieces to hide him in like the neighbour's rubbish. And like, I'm not emotionally prepared for that. And I also don't have the practical skill to do that because he's a dad, so he's never let anyone else carve the meat. Like I don't know how to do that. So yeah. So if you're a bit of an overthinker, you have a bit of an anxious mind, the internet is a bit of a nightmare. I've seen a lot of internet lately. Been down some rabbit holes. I learned recently. Do you know that cocaine isn't vegan? It's not, and it's not because it doesn't have. It's not because it has animal products in it. It's because it causes so much human suffering in the chain of its production that it doesn't count as vegan, which is astonishing, isn't it? Because it's awful, awful stuff. And even at the base of its inception, it's poisoning the Amazon River, which is horrific. And it makes a lot of sense when you hear about it, because I'm sure a lot of people in the room will be aware of the fish. You know the fish in the Amazon? The one that swims up your dick. That's the one. Yeah. The one that, if you piss in the Amazon, apparently it will swim up the stream and into your gonads, right? And I just, honestly, if that river wasn't full of cocaine, would that fish behave in such an aggressive manner? Probably not. So if you are a vegan that does cocaine and is learning this for the first time, don't worry about it. Most of the cocaine you're taking probably isn't actually cocaine anyway, is it? It's all made up of like Novocaine, the dental anaesthetic, and like brick dust and the cremated remains of police informants. So I suppose still not vegan. So yeah, it's probably just stay away from it. I feel like we aren't far away from a lot of drugs becoming legal soon. Like weed is obviously legal in a lot of places now. Justin Bieber got into weed for a little bit. Can you fucking imagine how insufferable that must have been? Like taking hits off his bong that cost more than your car. Just like, oh yeah, like, if just like all the world leaders could get together and just have a fucking biff, there'd be no wars. Like, fuck off, Justin. Just, oh. Yeah, I feel like if we do get to the point where everything is legal and it's just like made like just safer, like what will that be like? Will you get it in boots? Like will Superdrug finally deliver on its name? Like. It'd be baristas, wouldn't it? You'll have cocaine baristas, and it would be absolutely awful. Just people in there like, oh, mate, what's in this? Like, what's in it? Is it fennel? It's like, yeah, it's actually like our own special blend of stuff. It's like, yeah, but like, that hasn't really answered the question, though. Is it fennel? It's like, oh, yeah, we don't say, like, what is it? It'd be horrible. And also, like, just another illegal thing will take its place, because people like to get off on being a bit naughty, don't they? So I think the thing that will replace drugs will be one of the other big black market things, which is the exotic animal trade, right? Because the exotic animal trade is worth $23 billion a year. $23 billion, like a billion is 1,000 million. $23 billion. Now, there is every chance that somebody has drugs in here tonight, but like no one snuck a panther in. Do you know what I mean? Like where are they all? It's phenomenal, $23 billion, and it's going to change just the world so much. You'd just be knocking about, some sketchy guy would come up to you and go like, "Oh, mate, do you want a fruit bat?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I've been telling myself I'd stop doing this, but yeah, no, I'll hang out with him for a bit." So yeah, a lot of liars about now, isn't there? A lot of internet liars. That's been another sort of black hole of anxiety for me. I mean, we all lie, right? We've all told lies. I've told ridiculous lies on stage. I once said, "Hello, Birmingham, it's nice to be here," right? But I don't know. For me, like, lying is one of those things where it's like parkour, you know, like it's better if someone's bad at it. Like it's really impressive for me if you can like backflip off of a bin and onto a bus shelter, but it's way more entertaining if you can nearly backflip off of a bin and onto a bus shelter. Right, that doesn't really make sense as an ending. That doesn't matter, does it? So if you've enjoyed what I do, my name is Jim Campbell, but remember, it doesn't matter if you've enjoyed what I do, because I fell into a canal and deserve no respect. You have got a fantastic headliner. You have been I can't express my gratitude to how lovely you have been enough. Thank you so much. Good night. Mwah.
Jim Campbell! Oh, he's a nice boy, isn't he? He's a lovely boy, is Jim Campbell. Big fan. Cool, you having a good night? Yeah! Oh, I'm very glad to hear it. Jim was talking about dating a bit there. So, single people, has anyone done any like first dates during the Panny D? Anyone here? Give us a cheer if you're giving that a go. Just me. I've done all of them. I've been on all of the dates. Don't worry about it. I can report back. Would not recommend. Nil point. Well, I don't know. It's quite variable. But the thing is, like, what's weird about like when you go on first date? Does anyone know you've not done like socially distanced walks as a first date? Is it just us two? Well, not together. But I mean, I did that from the very beginning, like way before it was cool. When I was living in Amsterdam, they announced the lockdown half an hour before it was instated. It was literally at 5 p.m. they announced a lockdown at 5:30. I was on my way to our first date to go to a pub, and I arrived to find out that pubs didn't exist anymore. So we just met outside the pub, and we were like, right, should we go for a walk? And we just sort of walked around the park until it was too awkward and weird to do it anymore, and just went home and never saw each other again. But like, I've had a few of those, but like, the whole weird thing with like socially distanced walk dates, it's sort of, you think it'll be fine in theory, but like, so much about figuring out whether or not you're attracted to someone is about like reading the body language of like how it works. And if you sort of take a slight step towards someone and they leap in the opposite direction in order to maintain a 2-meter gap, you kind of think that they might not be into you. And it's like, well, that's just safety. That's not anything about you personally. That's just literally what it has to be in order to be kind of COVID safe. But like, so it's really difficult. I'm good at picking up the signals when someone's not into me. So I got used to paying attention to that. But like, it's so weird. It's all right if you're just walking around a park, because it's very flat in Amsterdam, and people doing the 2-meter things and then lunging and keeping that distance. But then when I got back to Norwich, I went on a date around Mousehold Heath, and I took a step towards someone, and then she just lunged and went off the edge and fell down to that big gap bit in the middle. Big fan of Mousehold Heath. Big fan. I like that they keep the prison in the bit of Norwich that's got the best view. It's like sort of taunting the prisoners. Here's what you could have won if you hadn't done all that crime. The weirder thing about like lockdown dates though is that like if it does go well, and you decide to like take it to the next level and like have a kiss, you sort of might as well fuck. Because at that point, unless you're reckless about COVID, and as you can tell from the mic admin, I'm not, like, you're sort of just in a monogamous relationship on a first successful date. But it's like, so it's sort of like, well, you just might, there's no point in being sensible, might as well just go all the way. You know, it's like you've already blown off the vault doors with C4, the staff are cable tied to their desks, you've shot a security guard. Might as well go all the way. Like, you're not going to just steal enough to cover next month's rent. Just fill your boots. It's not the time to be sensible. Anyway, right, cool, that was me rambling about stuff. Is everybody ready for the headline act? Yeah, you are. All right, hang on. I've committed to this bit, so we're going to have to do it. Bud, party of 1. No, that's table number 1. Bud, party of 2. Oh, one of you's really up for cheering, one of you's terrified. But I'm not stopping until you both start cheering. But cheering and applauding, please. Bud, table 1, emanating out. And this way. Everybody else. That's it. Keep it going. For your headline act of the evening, it's Elf Lyons.
I'm a teacher. Took my thumb off. And it's a lot hotter down there than I realised. So I'm what the Times described as an ordeal. So basically, do I need the microphone, Tom?
Yeah, so the people at home can hear you.
I'm so happy you're here, but basically, they remind me too much of pay women more. Naughty. Also, I never hold them. The first time I saw a penis, oh, they're funny, aren't they? Oh my God. They are so funny. I didn't realise, but I've taken my glasses off, so I can't see you. I've got to put them back on. I remember the first time I saw a penis. It was this boy called James. He's in the army now. But he, and I remember he flopped it out, and I think he was a lot prouder with it than actually. It was sort of like, you know, a very sad thumb. And we were in primary school. I never liked him. He was very aggressive. He didn't like snails. And you know, when you just think, you're wrong. There's nothing. If someone's like, I don't like snails, fuck off. Anyway, and I was a very vocal 7-year-old, and I remember he just whopped what you know, it was there, and I remember he said, "This is my penis," and he said it was Willy, but you know, we understood the terminology of the time, and I just looked at him and I went, "I will pray for you." So I was very, very religious child. But I didn't, so I was, also, I was the woman that invited Jim to a sex party. Cheeky little sausage. But the reason is I'll tell you a story in a minute. I am a drama teacher, by the way, and I'm very scary. No, it's true. I know some of you don't believe me. I'm a very scary teacher. I don't talk about genitals. That's not the scheme of work that we do. Very different interpretation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But I'm like Mrs. Trunchbull, but with a better understanding of safeguarding. You do not want to be Miss Honey. Everyone's like, oh, Miss Honey is so nice. No, she's the reason children aren't literate. So, modern UK behaviour and discipline policy is all down to Mrs. Trunchbull. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. I remember, I'll get back to you. It wasn't related to you, but you're there, sorry. And you're there. Oh, you've got, well, I mean, everyone, what are they? Mine is sort of, vaginas are funny as well. But we'll talk about that another time. Oh, I booked myself a Brazilian. That was the first thing I did after lockdown. Not for me, but for Cinzia, the lady in my beauty therapy place, because she loves me because I'm ginger. So I've got Viking hair. And she gets really excited when I come in. She's like, you are what I call a challenge. So I knew that after like a year and a half, she'd be really like chomping at the bit to have like a proper go. And so I came in and honestly, she treated me like a Jackson Pollock painting. It was fantastic. Anyway, it was adorable. But anyway, I remember the first time, well, not the first time, I've been around, sex party, casual boast. I don't smoke, but I'm very good at mime.
do that in my scheme of work, but actually in the Titanic year 8. So when I saw this, stop, Heg, no, actually laugh, I need it. Don't know why I did that gesture, but you know what? It's my night out as well. I took the thong off, so I was wearing a thong, and it was just too... And you know those thongs that just appear in your house and you don't know who they belong to, but you just don't... You know what I mean? These thongs that just appear, and you know when your knickers aren't the right knickers, and you're just like, I don't have time to question these knickers, and it's always, you just put them on, and you're like, they're a little bit too big, but I'm not going to talk to my partner about it. They're clean, that's all mummy wants to know. But I put the knickers on, and I thought they were too much, and I took them off, and then I was like, is it too evident I've had a Brazilian? Because also I then was worried, because I don't know how flammable this is there going to be static? So if I'm going to walk and go... I can't tell if some of you are enjoying this, but then again, I mean, who knows? One of my favourite reviews was I was described as a natural clown. So charismatic, you can't take your eyes off her. 2 stars, The Independent. Yeah! And the other one was... what was it? An ungainly, absurdist female comedian with very long arms. And I got 4 stars, and I remember this. I got 4 stars. Overall, the show was excellent, but I didn't like the layout of the room. But anyway, so I remember this time. Never fuck a man in a sketch group, and never fuck the middle one, okay? You know what I mean? There's the funny one, there's the attractive one, there's one that you can't remember, and he wears the white t-shirt and stands in the centre. That one. Basically, any sketch group from Oxbridge. Fuck so many ones of them. I could have one of their fake MAs. Anyway, so the point is, very niche joke if anyone knows that University of Cambridge and Oxford, they give a fake MA just for like, well done, you went there. I've lost some of you, but I didn't have you all from the beginning. Why am I not on telly? Because I keep alienating the people I fucked. Anyway, so the point is, so I was having sex after, you know what I mean, bless him, he needed to lie down. And I didn't realise, I'm going to kneel down for this, because also I just think this makes me cool, but your testicles move to the heat. Did you know this? I'm sorry. What? You've been hiding that the entire time. It's the coolest thing ever. He literally, it was just their sort of like, because they do that sweet thing when they're like, oh, hello. Oh, I could be interested, but need some toast. And then, but the balls are like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was amazed, so I moved the lava lamp closer to get a better look. And I was just amazed. And then if you get high and look at them as well, like, oh, who needs Audible? Though I have been told that apparently it is really rude after you've slept with someone to just put Audible on. But I was like, I'm sorry, have you read Middlemarch by George Eliot? Because it is a classic. I need to do some material. What was I going to write down? You can tell we haven't gigged in a long time. So because normally I do clowning and mime. I was going to wear this whole thing, but I've got what my mother called before I moved out, late 20s boobs now, apparently. I don't know what that means. But I'm not wearing a sturdy enough bra, and I do know it looks like I'm packing peanuts. And as much as I know we can all focus on the talent, I am aware sometimes if you've got different eyes to follow around the room. So I put the polo neck on, also I've got Reynards. I'm just letting you into the craft. So, but I just thought I'd wear this. I really don't, because I'm just dressing like a young Conservative MP since training to be a teacher. Because normally I work full-time as a comic, then obviously lockdown happened, I moved in with my parents. I'm not sure if you've seen the film Hereditary, but that was it. And there was something, but I've always wanted to teach, and I fucking love kids. Like, honestly, kids are wicked. And so I was like, I'll train to be a teacher, and I really love teaching. And it has been the best. Have we got any teachers in the room? Yes. Oh my God, where are you, you queen? What subject do you teach? Oh my God, give her a fucking round of applause. Like, this isn't funny. I am days, how many people were like, oh my God, yeah, we had to teach our children during lockdown. You didn't. The teachers didn't stop teaching. They were who do you think made the schemes of work? It's not funny, it's true. But also, you can tell me if you disagree. Fat kids are the best. Now, I know people will say this is shocking, and they'll say you can't say fat. I'm not calling a child curvy, okay? I'm not saying fucking love curvy kids, but I'm just gonna be honest, skinny kids don't bring the vibe. If you've got a child, give them wagon wheels. If you've got a kid who's fat called Sid, they are the best, okay? They are the one, like we all know, Augustus Gloop should have run the chocolate factory. Anyway, the point is, I fucking love teaching, and they're so fun, and I'm getting, like, every day is just the best. And I was teaching them the Titanic. This might be that moment, you know, when someone's like, I just really love my job, and then they alienate everyone by telling you how interesting accounting is. Though genuinely, quite interesting when you really get into the nuance. I've got a book on Audible about it. I've also, does anyone like Audible? It's all right. It's all right. What level are you? Have you collected any of the stamps? Wait, who was it? Basically, my glasses fell out today, and I had to. They fell out in the middle. I was doing a scheme of work on refugees for Year 7, and we really needed to work through that. It was quite a complex topic. Again, using mime. But then both these glasses fell out at the same time, and I couldn't see all the students, so I had to. And one of them was really sweet. Sid, put them back together using blue tack. Gotta love kids. But sorry, sorry, I was distracting you. What level on Audible are you? Oh my God, babe. Blow your mind. Can you guess someone's got obsessive compulsive disorder and is lonely? Actually, no, I'm actually very well contained. No, but the point is. The voice is in my head. Feed me. My partner doesn't want to have sex with me. Now, we've moved in together, and he is made predominantly out of hair. He's like, you know the cup of soup arms? You know in the cup of soup, and they're like, boom, 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 the hug and a mug. That's him, okay? But then with a layer of Lynx Africa, but from like 3 days ago. He's a boy from Dartford. I fucking love him. He's got songs of praise tattooed on his stomach in 3 different fonts. And I was like, that is a man that I will want to be fingered by. And then next day say, yeah, let's move into a maisonette together. So. But he doesn't want to have sex with me because he says that I'm not. He says I'm not very sexy. That I don't bring the vibe. Like I'm not sexy. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not sexy? Just get it up. Thumb it in. I'll do the work. And he says it's like living with a Doberman that's learned to speak. So he goes off to do his work, and there's me just pushing myself along the carpet like a terrier that's got worms going, look at what you're missing out on. I'm staying the night with Jim and Tom, and I think they are really frightened. Tom, can you tell me when I've plateaued? Because I haven't done my material yet, but I was going to do some. Can you just tell me? I'm having a really nice time, though. Thank you. Isn't it amazing that I don't drink? I know. I can't tell if you're enjoying this, but I'm sure you are. I mean, I don't know. I just assume the children are learning, and then, well, anyway, we were doing the Titanic, and I think this is genuinely, it just killed me. But I was chatting about the different levels, like 3rd class, 2nd class, 1st class, and I was trying to teach them. And I was like, sit like someone from 3rd class, and they all go, I'm 3rd class, I drink, And I was like, well, the majority of us would be 3rd class. You know, majority of us would be traveling there. Look at these pictures of these families of these different communities. Let's think about class. Let's think about this. Anyway, I showed them pictures of the musicians. And I was like, these musicians, when the Titanic was going down, they played their instruments. They performed to everybody as they were panicking, as they were jumping into these lifeboats. They played their music. One of the boys went, oh, that's really annoying. So, yeah, you just be like, stop it. And then and then I was like, and they all died. And then a kid went, Miss, do you think they would have lived though if maybe, do you think people would have let them in the lifeboats if they'd maybe decided to leave their instruments behind? Because a cello's really big. And then they were all like, yeah, like I wouldn't let them in if they had a guitar. And then they were like, yeah, a guitar, that's like the size of a child, miss. So yeah, you wouldn't want to bring them in if they were going to do that. Did they have a trumpet on the Titanic, miss? Miss, how do you play a trumpet? I was like, shut up, we're doing mine! I don't shout like that with the kids. I'm genuinely quite a kind teacher. One thing you will learn about teaching is if you do work in a school is that every teacher has concussion because every teacher's been hit in the head by a football. There are footballs in places there shouldn't be footballs. You will be teaching a class and there'll just be a football. You'll be like, whose football is this? And they'll be like, Maisie's football. And I was like, Maisie's not here. And they're like, well, her football is. And then suddenly Maisie's football will hit you in the head and you go, where was that? Well, it was Kevin. But where's Kevin? Well, Kevin's with his other football. There's just footballs everywhere. Anyway, we don't even do football at the school. It's rounders. I'll tell you about the sex party. I love my body. I don't mean that in like a, oh, my body's the best body in the world. I'm not going to say that. I hate it when people are like, oh, just love your body. No, because some days you love it and sometimes you don't. And sometimes it just, you look in the mirror and you're like, you look like Picasso's ex-wives during his Cubist period, okay? You know, just different vibes. But I do love my body. We've had quite a few. I've had a lot of spine. I had a big spinal operation a few years ago, so my spine collapsed, blah, 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 blah. Lost all the feeling in my genitals, party and rave. And it means I leak a lot. Oh, I'm so fun at Torture Garden. And big fetish. Anyway, but the point is, and my body had to change a lot. But I love body. I love all bodies. Like I love it. Love cellulite. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Love cellulite. I love it. I want women to just get it out more. Like nibble, nibble, nibble. Like I'm covered in it. I'm like a tall, sexy orange. Like, if you lie me on my side and it rains, it collects like rock pools for the animals. And they can feed off me like Mother Nature. I love it. But it takes a long time to love it, you know, and also this one's a D and this one's a B, because when I was a teenager, I fell through a rowing machine. My truth. And... So when this one arrived, she was very confident. She was very out there. So at the beginning, I still do. I called her Jermaine Greer because at the beginning I really liked her, but now she is a hassle. And, keep your trans opinions to yourself, Poppet. But anyway, so one thing you probably might have, and also Happy World Period Day. Well done. Everyone, Happy World Period Day. Just a quick thing as well, like if you know a man or a woman or anyone who says things like, oh, I don't like going down on a woman. It's like, no, it's just, I know it's not really for me. I don't really find it that hygienic. Kill them. They don't deserve you. And if you meet a man who's like, the idea of going down on her, she's bleeding. Kill that. Because the thing is, I always say, being queer, being lesbian and being vegan, I don't really have a choice because it's the only way I can get iron. And that is the joke that my mummy says I'm not allowed to say at book club. About to tell you this, so what you might know me from, and I'm sure you do, is I'm the regular writer for Guinea Pig magazine. So, which is true. I write for Guinea Pig magazine. You're welcome. Genuinely, it's a really good magazine, and if you do want to get an animal, do adopt, don't shop, rescue a guinea pig. Yes, they are the most, adopt, don't shop. Who were all these wankers who were just buying dogs and they're like, oh yeah, we decided to rescue a Malamute. We've never had a dog before and we live in a small flat. Fuck off and die! Anyway, why am I aggressive? So anyway, but I write for Guinea Pig magazine, and I was chatting to this gentleman on Gumtree, which is the beginning of how all good stories start, and about a cage for my 2 guinea pigs, Ian McCulloch and Clara Cupcakes, and I wanted to get them a new cage. And we were chatting away, and he said to me, the gentleman, we were chatting through Gumtree, he just casually dropped in that he had a first edition of Dracula, Bram Stoker. I'm sorry, what? First edition Bram Stoker, Dracula. He was like, why are you holding a microphone? I guess it's just my thing. And he said, well, when you come to pick up the cage, perhaps you could have a look at it. I was like, that would be amazing. So obviously being a wise 29-year-old woman, I went to this man's house on my own and I didn't tell anyone where I was going. And I turned up at his house and I brought my book gloves and I opened the front door and there was this man, very nice man, and the door opened, swish, swish, swish. Just a normal door, but he made the sound. And he looked at me and he went, wow. You really look like my ex-wife. She's not dead. Do you want to come in? And I came into the house and there was no guinea pigs or a guinea pig cage. And I was like, I don't hear any alarm bells going off. And I walked into his house and he was like, wow, so how tall are you? 6 foot or 6'1"? I was like, 6 foot. And he went, yeah, my wife is. She's just away. She was 5'11". So, interesting. And he was like, and then I was like, oh, interesting. And then he went to go and get the Bram Stoker book and he handed it to me and I had my book gloves on. And he went, this might seem a bit odd, but do you like parties? I was like, I've known to dabble. My mum's Catholic book club can get a little bit wild sometimes when Shelley has done quite a lot of the rosary. And he went because this weekend, actually, my partner and I, we were going to go to a sex party. And we had sex party. And we had tickets, but obviously she can't come now. And I just realised you might actually fit into her latex. So, wondered if you wanted to come to the sex party. And I was like, that sounds like an interesting offer. I was like, the font's really interesting. I'm surprised it's Helvetica, considering how old it is. He went, there's a face paint. And I was like, oh, that is actually quite interesting. He went, and there's a free buffet. And I went, I will come. So he was like, turned up at my house. He's like, come to my house on Friday night. I'll cook us dinner. We'll go to the sex party. I'll clean my wife's latex. We'll go and I'll get you an Addison Lee home. And I was like, oh, someone's flash. So I turned up at this gentleman's house on the following Friday to go to this sex party. And he cooked us, we went downstairs, bottle of Sancerre, and he cooked us dinner. He cooked us 2 jacket potatoes each. What level of cardiovascular exercise is needed at this sex party that you need the energy of 2 jacket potatoes? Also, we're about to put latex on. I'm not sure if you try to put that shit on after you're bloated, but you need a lot of talcum powder. So he goes up to dry clean his and wipe it down before he puts it on. He told me his wife was 6 foot, okay? His wife was not even 6 foot if she was standing on a ladder. I put this outfit on and I was like spelling the letter W with my labia. I was just walking like Clint Eastwood with an erection. My breasts were in every single direction. I was like, it was like a corset for my spine. And we got the Addison Lee, we got into this party, and it was at this nightclub in Camden called Underworld, which is a venereal disease but tiled. And we went in, and the buffet was fine. It was a lot of sausages, which I thought was actually not suitable for what they said was an animal-friendly event. Oh yeah, this was the other thing. The theme was animals, okay? So that's something to consider. So we were going into this room. I'm not sure if you've ever been to a sex party or torture garden or any of these sorts of events, but there's a room, like a red rumpus room of pain. and it's where a lot of people can tie people up. And it's basically for a lot of people who have a lot of fetishes about knots. Okay, a lot of people who used to be sailors and they've not been able to get on a boat for a while, and they're like, I'm gonna show you this Swedish knot, I'm gonna do a Norwegian knot, I'm gonna show you this knot I learned in Cow's Week. And by the point they've done all these knots, they've come, and then you're just attached to a wall. And say, that's all that happens in this room. So you go around this room, and there was face painting I'd been done as a tiger, and I'm walking around this room, looking at all the different knots, going, yeah, no, that's a very good knot. That would work on a yacht. And we're walking around, and in the background, and this is really integral, there is a very lovely lady having the best time of her life, being sodomized from behind and having a nice big gander on a happy arm holding an apple thing, like a big old, and she's just num, and occasionally she's just tapping it away to eat one of her sandwiches. And I was like, this woman is a queen. But what I do need to explain was she had been face painted as a badger. Now that does not melt well. So she's having a nice time, and I'm there looking at all the different knots, and suddenly this woman appears, and she's all in latex, and her hair, she's got the swishy hair. You know those women who only ever walk backwards? You know those women who are like, hey, yeah, no, we're all going to the pub afterwards, yeah. Hey, Karen. And they're walking like this, and I'm going, oh, yeah, no, I work in HR, you know what I mean? It's that woman. She was like swishy, she was like, hello, hi, fresh meat. And then she came up to me and she was like, so this is my husband. And her husband was on the floor dressed as a dog, in full-on gimp suit, drinking champagne from a dog's bowl with his name on it. And I was like, oh, hello. And she was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but do you write for Guinea Pig magazine? Yeah, I do. She's like, me and my husband, we rescue chickens. She's like, darling, show her the photos. And he's going, woof, 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 woof. He gets the phone out and he's like, woof, 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 woof. And they show us all the pictures of all these different chickens. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. She's like, yes, it's really important to adopt, don't shop. And I was like, I believe it's actually the same thing. And we're chatting about the politics of animal rescue. And then at this moment, this lady behind us went, I'm really sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but did you say you rescued guinea pigs? Because I rescued chinchillas. And you just don't know when you're going to meet your people. I loved it. I'm going to say goodbye now. You've been such a bloody delight. What a lovely, nice group of lovely people you are. You're so much nicer than year 9. Anyway, I love you all so much. My name's been, I need to say, my dad always says, remember to say your name. My name is Elf Lyons. Have a lovely night and God bless. Goodbye.
Elf Lyons! What a fucking dreamboat! All right, darlings, have you had a good night? Yeah, you have. Excellent. You are officially nicer than year 9. Congratulations. You can take that one to your graves. All right, well, that's it. That's everything. You can bugger off soon, but we're doing another one of these tomorrow. I mean, hypothetically, I should be around to do another one tomorrow. It is true, Elf is staying at my house, so we'll see. Anything could happen. But yeah, if I survive, then I'll be doing another one of these. Has anyone got tickets for tomorrow? Oh, well, I'll see you then. Everyone else, you can fuck off. But you can watch on the stream. You'll be one of those people. Yeah, brilliant. That'll be you. You can be in there. Or not, or just live your damn lives. But it was really lovely that you were here. We really appreciate it. If you could give one more round of applause to everyone you've seen this evening. You've seen Sarah Bonetto. You've seen Andrew O'Neill. You saw Jim Campbell. And you saw Elf Lyons. Thank you to everyone at Norwich Arts Centre. We got Alex, we got Connor in the back of the tech, we got Josie, and one more time we got Bud, Dolby, White, Farah, Hayborn, O'Mahony, Miller, Bonnywell, Harben, Hemmings, Jones, Dominitou, and Bevan. Thank you all, darlings. I've been Tom Clutterbuck. I'll see you again for more Altered Feast.